What's popular, YouTube? Another day, another demo. Got a cool one today. Lots of news, though, first. Lots of news to talk about today first before we get into the demo. This is going to be about Dexter, but we'll get to that in a bit. Okay, where do we even begin? All these tabs you see up here, we're going to click on every single one. Quickly, going to be doing another video with Leadify. They were down with the last video we did. We got another video planned. And it's going to be introducing their map zone performance tool. If you guys have any experience with this, I'm sure you have good things to say. It's pretty cool, but I'm going to make a video for this, I think, for the website and to put on our YouTube channel as well. Shout out to Leadify again. I remember you guys should go and check it out. Free service to use, and I use it to track all of my stats and stuff. This is unpaid promotion, okay? I don't have to hashtag add it. This is just because I like the site. But I just wanted to bring that up. The growth has been going crazy. We're plus 5,000 subs on the month, coming up on 80K. My big dream, my huge goal was to get to 100K by the end of the year, and it feels like we're going to get 100K in a couple weeks at this rate. It's actually unbelievable. Thank you, everybody, for watching, liking, following, subscribe, everything like that, telling your friends, etc., and so forth. Look at the viewership, man. We were celebrating 10K views on one Coach Lau episode a couple weeks ago, and now we've got 10K views on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looking at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's actually nuts. Every single video is like outperforming the last. It's something amazing. It's something amazing. It really is. Well, I made this vlog 5 days ago, making the most of our scene, and there's a lot of stuff in there that I really wanted to get off my chest. I'm glad that I talked about it, and I actually got the chance to expound upon a lot of the stuff in that vlog in this conversation with Pronogo. He is the producer of It's Server Time. He's been doing some interviews. He's got one with Thorn, one with Vu on his channel. If you're craving some CSGO content, here's the content channel I'm going to shout out today. It's Pronogo. Go ahead and follow him. I'll leave a link for this here, and you can go and watch this interview. Got to talk about a lot of the stuff I wanted to talk about in more detail with a great, well-spoken interviewer in Pronogo. So go ahead and give him a shout out and check out the video. Leave a like, subscribe, ding the bell, all that stuff, and support the content creators in our scene. That's what we're all about. Another one, this just dropped now. We recorded both of these episodes yesterday. Pronogo is actually producing It's Server Time. I recorded the interview with him 5 hours later. I'm on the show here with these boys on It's Server Time. We got to discuss a lot of stuff. It's a show that goes a little bit deeper in CS, talks more about the meta, mix and analyst for Cloud9. Currently, the EU Cloud9 note, a writer for HL TV, Maui Snake, an analyst with MDL experience, and my boring ass self. And we basically just talk about a lot of stuff CS related, but then we get a bit deeper when it comes to the specific meta stuff, which I find very interesting, very compelling, and I think it's something that the scene is looking for. So go ahead, sub to It's Server Time. I've watched every minute of the last 2 episodes. Haven't watched the episode I've been on yet, but there's gonna be one every week. Show them some love. That's a good one right there. So we'll get that out of the way. And on the show, we actually had a discussion about roster moves. Okay, Okay, hold on. No. Let's save that for last. Another content shout out. HLTV confirmed is doing so well. They had 5,000 viewers for this Glaive episode. Glaive was so awesome, well spoken, high banter. It was great. He definitely go ahead and check this out. Lots of nuggets of knowledge, tidbits of information, delicious deets on this podcast. I would go ahead and check this out, and you can check the VOD. I'll leave a link for this as well. More great Counter-Strike content to discuss some higher level issues in the scene, the Astralis rotating roster. There's a lot of honesty here from Glaive. Okay, Lucas, he controls his own social media and his mind. Go ahead and check them out. Another content shout out, actually, Kerrigan. Kerrigan is going above and beyond. Okay, man, this guy works hard. For some of you may know, this guy got a master's while he was a pro player. Okay, I think while he was on FaZe, he was still getting his master's. So I guess before. He's now, even though they just lost Regin because of this coaching bug scandal, he has decided to give up even more of his time, even though he's taking on all of the coaching responsibilities at Mouse, to do demo reviews for people. You can sign up with this form. I'll leave a link for this tweet in the description. And I can't think of, I don't even think there might not be another, the only other person I can think of be this good at doing a demo review for somebody would be maybe Glaive. In terms of being able to express yourself, to be, and for how relevant they are, for how great of an IGL they are, for how much talent they've worked with, I can only imagine the stuff that you'll be able to learn from Kerrigan from his demo reviews. So this is amazing from him to do this for Counter-Strike. Really excited to see that. That's just fantastic stuff. And I would highly recommend going and just submitting something on the forum. So go ahead, do that. Why not? It's probably going to be swamped, but who knows? You might get in there. Okay, and lastly, in news here, it looks like EG are confirmed coming to Europe. We've had a bit of an exodus here in NA with teams losing players, dropping out. 100 Thieves most recently. Gen.G losing 2 of their players. And further, it just feels like it's a better place to be right now because of the current world climate to be in Europe, where all the action's at, where there's some of the top teams. So we could finally get to see EG, who is a world-class roster right now, versus European teams. Liquid are a bit more of a question mark. They have the talent, but they're missing a bit of their Grand Slam luster. You know, a little. They're missing a little something. Something's not right there. I think the talent is right, but something else isn't right. But EG, they are ready. They are looking amazing. Like they can definitely be top 5 in Europe, in my opinion. We don't know exactly what the results will show, but they're definitely ready. So I'm super excited. Everyone's really excited to have EG, I would assume, go to Europe and get to see, and finally see some new teams play against each other and see, you know, this kind of really amazing version of EG play against top teams in Europe to really see how they match up. So the rankings can make a bit more sense. I'm going to if anyone cares, I'm going to a back specialist tonight. I got an appointment. I've been very busy, lots of work, lots of content that I've been doing, lots of content to prepare, lots of casting coming up. So I've been preparing extra content before, and it has been a nightmare to have to stand up for all of it. Some of the stuff I have to write, finding a way to comfortably sit down and write scripts and stuff has just been really hard, honestly. If I sit down for more than an hour, I have to like lie down for the next hour. So it's been not fun. So I'm going to go see a back specialist today, and I'll report back tomorrow with some more details on that to see what the prognosis is. This is a post from Reddit that shows that NA has had a bit of a rough time recently with the teams and rosters that have changed or either dropped out. And like right now, I've got EG and Liquid, the only 2 teams that you would say have a chance to play on a world stage and actually compete. And the other teams are question marks. We don't know yet. Can actually expect good things to come out of Chaos, to come out of Triumph. We don't know where Cloud9 lands, losing Floppy to new Cloud9. New England Whalers have been good, but I think they weren't playing with one of their main players recently. Not sure about this, at all, really. But right now, there's not really a better time for, if you are a tier 2 or tier 3 player looking to get on a salary roster, looking to actually be world class, like you actually are compelled to have the drive to win. You see pro players play and you're like, I can do that. But you don't actually have the team to do that. Now is the time to throw a little discipline back in the schedule, get on a sleep schedule, wake up, think about Counter-Strike, study the game, become good, become an IGL because we need IGLs, become an opper because we need oppers, specialize, work hard, be a Sheikh Zula, be a junior, be a player, be a vanity, be somebody who's going to add a lot of value, be a leader no matter what role you're in. Take this situation by the horns. There's not a better time now to get into big events in North America, and there's no way that there's only 10 players in North America that can be as good as EG and Liquid and are on those teams already. There's no chance. There's absolutely no chance that that's true. So if you were one of those players that should be here in this top 10, I want you to really take your life by the horns. Use this as a huge opportunity to make some money, to show us what you can do, to get on a team. To come in, don't come in with an NA mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, be a professional, work with a roster, get somewhere, show us what you can do, and fill out the rest of this top 10. Okay, because some of the players that have left, it's not a knock on them, but certainly they left because they didn't really see a future for themselves in Counter-Strike. Why else would you why else would you leave an established game where you could make money and also win? There's not going to be a lot of overlap between players who could make a lot of money and win and players who left. That's just unfortunately the case. Even Gen.G roster with like Daps and Som, if they really saw a lot of success in their future in the region, they wouldn't have left. That's just, I don't think that makes any sense for them. So with that in mind, I think there's a lot of space for players to come in and fill out these gaps, and not finally have a situation where old players get recycled. Let's get some new ones in. Let's revitalize the region. And so I'd see this as an opportunity as much as possible, because I really do think it is. A lot of the money and infrastructure is still there, but now the teams aren't as much. Right? That's a huge opportunity for new talent. So come through, pull up, get in the right mindset, guys. But talking about roster moves, I wanted to bring this one up. I brought this up on it server time. I would like to see, first of all, I was talking about IGLs. I would like to see Dexter come to North America. Specifically, I'd like to see Dexter come to Gen.G. Can we make that happen? I would like to see Gen.G pick up Dexter and pick up Oboe. Now, I do think that with 100 Thieves and the players that go left behind, Liaz has a lot of untapped potential. He didn't play to his potential on the roster that they had, presumably because they had JKS. Now, what that means for Liaz, I don't know, but I think that I would definitely take a chance on Liaz. Azur is worth his weight in gold as a great IGL. But Dexter is someone who I also want to come to North America, and who I would be extremely excited to see play alongside players like Automatic Bentet, and to have someone like Oboe, who's kind of sitting in limbo looking for an NA roster, to come through and see what they can do. I think they would have literal potential to be top 10 for sure. And that would be exciting. Dexter is a bit unproven in some sense, but we know him from Greyhound, of course. And he has been just farming. I mean, he's just been farming. He's an IGL. He's been overperforming in his region. He's played some of the international lands, and we've seen how good he can be. There's no doubt, I think, in a lot of people's minds that this guy is brimming with potential. So I would love to see Dexter come over here alongside Azur, for them both to find teams to lead. And for Gen.G, honestly, Azur, Dexter, I could see them both working out really well. I think Azur proved, if anything, that his system on 100 Thieves was a fantastic system. They were a team that did not have quite enough talent to be consistent at their level, but were clearly always punching above their weight. So in some sense, we're a more respectable roster right now than, say, Liquid, who have the talent but can't even play to the level that we'd expect based on their talent, right? 100 Thieves, it felt like every time they had a high placing was very impressive, because honestly, JKS wasn't even the star at times. It was Jacob who would be the one in their deeper runs having better performances. Azur recently, who've been playing really well on an individual level. And again, like players like Liaz, who I see him play 1v1s. I'm like, man, this guy is one of the smartest players. In a 1v1, he's super clutch, I'd say, but his potential was still untapped. So yeah, lots of stuff there. And I hope they all find homes. And like Sponge said, I hope they don't go home, if that makes sense. I hope they stay here in North America and help us fill out our roster. So much left to give from all of them, and so much room to get it to in North America. So let's go ahead and take a look at Dexter. That was a news-filled morning here in Counter-Strike, as it usually is. Very exciting times for the good and bad in terms of news. So we're going to look at Dexter. Shout out to Josh Mix, who was on the server time. Talked about how they had nightmares playing against Dexter on Connector on Overpass. And so we're taking one of his recent Overpass games, not the one he played, presumably versus Cloud9. I'm not sure what roster he was coaching at the time. I'm going to assume it was Cloud9. But just one of his kind of random games versus Rooster. Had to scroll down a bit. Seems like there's a lot of Inferno, Vertigo, and Nuke being played by Renegades, but I want to take a look at their Connector presence. their connector games, excuse me, and see what's like one with their connector games, with their overpass games. Sorry, I'm losing it. Let's go ahead and check it out. I'm not sure if he's we'll see what the strat is on overpass. Feels like these days, actually, it's feel like since forever, it always made sense to play 4-1 towards B. Okay, quick farm. That's almost a double headshot. Turning with discipline from the flash. Dexter gets traded, but man, you cannot argue he didn't do his job there. That's it. So obviously, because of the spawns, the first player out front can go and peek into mid, and 4 players can go B, and if it's a B rush, you have 4 in B, and it cannot be an A rush all too quickly. You can get that first spawn out to see if anyone crosses towards long. There's no way for 5 of them to cross long before your best A spawn on CT side, so it's kind of a fail-safe catch-all opening strategy to use. Big fan of it. The Overpass is a map that we don't actually get to talk about that much, which I find very interesting. And we were getting a lot of CT side, so I didn't really want to do another CT side. I've been trying to look for a little bit more T sides. I think I'm going to do JCOM. And I'm also going to do performances that are not incredible. I'm going to try to do performances that are just average performances, that are good and bad, that are just kind of down the line, you know, 10 to 15 kill haps that are just like decent, good, whatever. But not really pick them because they're good. I want to see the every game, because sometimes in the really good matches, you see incredible shots being hit and not so much brains being used. And conversely, in really bad matches, you see a lot of mistakes that would normally make, a lot of unlucky timings. But in those down the middle games, you can kind of see a mixture of both. Maybe they're feeling good, but they weren't getting the kills. That's an interesting thing. Or they actually had, you know, a 10 kill half, but it was 10 1v1s and they had 10 rounds in the half. You know, like that's the most impactful possible half that you could have. So right now I think he spotted one out to the left. Gaming his own smoke right there and trying to be very, very careful about how he disperses his MP9 bullets, but maybe next time he'll be a little bit less patient and just go for the spray. Not even sure how he didn't get the second kill. They actually lose the round, second round. All right. But now we're down into connector. First things first, it looks like he just blows open the door. Interesting. So on CT, of course, it's funny because he's also not worried even about anybody coming from the ladder just yet. You saw how he just glanced over, but he didn't really peek it. He didn't hold it. Really, hoping and looking for some nades, I guess, to be concerned about immediate presence, and instead using the nade to help them clear out any connector push. But he does suss out the lurker at the back of connector. So we're already seeing some good connector play coming out of Dexter. And now he can go and help on the A site. Long flank here. And the goal of the long flank, of course, is to get as close up without them swinging on you, and then suddenly you're just so in the game. Like, this is suddenly the best position he could be in. Unless Netic is going to check the flank at that very last possible second. Great game sense by Netic. Definitely Dexter was in a prime position, and Inns was going to try to refresh its position. Ooh. Not a bad 1D that we've seen. One of the better 1Ds that we've seen. Okay. Now just USPs and then get rushed down inside the site. I'm going to run it into the next one. He's got the M4 out to A with a great spawn. And the half overall was decent for Dexter. It was very good, actually. It was like a 90 ADR, 95 ADR half. And Inns had the best half, actually, here on CT side. So they're both fragging. Another player we should actually take a look at, potentially. So on this side of the bathrooms, of course, you see the shadow in this box of light with the tree, the silhouette of the tree, the shadow of the tree. And that allows you to take some unfair duels versus the Ts that come out. Dexter will look to attack when the smoke is pluming. So I think his idea there is try to peek when they'll forget about the angle, right? Right when that smoke plumes, they're thinking about all the other things. They've held it for a bit. No one's peeked. They're going to start clearing out the outside of bathrooms, divider, inside of bathrooms. Maybe pull out another nade, maybe hold stairs. So Dexter's thinking maybe I can get a small in-between timing here. I think that's a very important mindset if you want to get the extra edge in these professional matches. That if you don't take small risks like that, calculated risks like that, and you play standard, that's what everyone is practicing to be able to destroy. Sorry about the glitching on the UI. Don't actually know what causes that, but we've only got one man Dominic working on this POV HUD mod, and so I don't want to bother him too much with like asking for bug updates or content updates, but maybe he will notice, and there's something that can be done about it. Hard to say with some of these bugs. But either way, another lost round. And we saw Dexter took a small risk with that M4. And it looks like now he's got some kind of like mouse issues. .6 crosshair here for Dexter. Big fat Summit-esque crosshair. If you're always on him, you can't miss. Now pushed up towards long. It is just the eco, so don't want to overanalyze here. Could take some risks on his positioning just to play for himself, get one kill. The team game really falls apart on the ecos because, again, if you play standard, you will not win, especially when you're at a guns disadvantage. You kind of play closer to standard the more money you have because it can be just as important to stay alive or to get kills. But when you have an eco like this, it's usually a good idea to risk it and play somewhat unorthodox. So he really likes to use this smoke to lurk on, but he ends up getting killed because he misses the first jump, I believe. I think that's what happened there. And sometimes in that situation, you want to cancel when you kind of know you got spotted, but there's probably a part of him that didn't believe he actually got spotted. Dexter gets ass blasted at the bottom of stairs on this round as well. He really must be turning it around soon to get back into this game, because so far it's not looking too hot. A couple of great rounds early on, but it's felt like a long time since. So more connector pressure. Here you can kind of see over the smoke sometimes because people just throw it without a lineup, but not finding anything just yet. ASAP drops a spray, a big spray, and it's just the body shot Deegs across the kill feed. Attack pause will be called, and we'll see what happens now. One more time, another connector play here for Dexter. He's actually just sitting at the top of it listening, it looks like. And I think after not hearing any grenades, he's just going to try to support his opera. We've seen him push up long by himself with a deagle. He's doing it here with a rifle as well. So if we look at the setup, of course, if he gets to this wall, the op can come up behind him and op towards long, and then you have a very strong setup to deal with long. The op is the bait, who can also get a kill, and then Dexter's the cleanup crew. Or vice versa. The op can get ready to peek after Dexter takes contact if the op is watching short bathrooms. So it's a very, very strong position to be in with a rifle. But here he's having second thoughts, it looks like. Oh my gosh, there was actually a boost, and now he's trapped in position. He has a full kit to use. Okay. So first things first, smoke goes out, but he's trying to delay it, interestingly enough. Could basically die to a loose grenade. An HE, even if it's slightly missed. And it just seems like he's very cognizant of holding on to his utility. Does he end up swinging without throwing anything? This is what I'm very curious about. I mean, I guess he just wants to leave open lines for his op and hope that they forgot about him. It's a brave move. Even though it's 4v2. I mean, just consider the situation he was in. Won't even be the first person to use his smoke. I wonder if they come A. So here's, of course, because the smoke landed badly on the left side, he's trying to invite them in on the right side. And the op is making noise, so someone might come try to trade. And it looks like we'll have the Iverson step back grenade here from Dexter. Somebody asked how to do that. You literally just step back so that your grenade doesn't go as far. Made it sound cool, but calling it the Iverson grenade, it's not that complicated. All right. Passive flat angle. Here's kind of a position where you're like, hit an insane headshot or do 40-50 damage and fall off, but get information and not die are the two main priorities, and he'll actually get charged down. They don't peek the left side of the bathrooms. They don't peek from top stairs. They actually walked up silently and caught a bit of a timing. So let's go ahead and check out the next round now. See what's going on. We got the deep stairs Molotov and an aggressive smoke, but a bad spray. Doesn't actually work out so well. The flashes were decent, but one person wasn't blind. Of course, putting a ton of stock into flashes is always going to be risky. Playing in a position like Furwood at the fountain is always going to be risky, but it definitely does not make it a bad play. There's a lot to be gained, especially if there was no A default there and he caught one person lurking. In fact, the round could be almost over if he kills the one person going towards A. And his team still ends up winning, so... I think I picked a demo to be like, should we, this is the demo that should show us, should we pick up Dexter? He's had the second half of this game, he was actually a pretty two-way player. And there's other games where he's had really good performances versus, better teams. But I just wanted to pick a connector game because of that, because of Mick's talking about his connector play. But it seems like most of his success, it's just been it's kind of been sparse in each area. There's been a couple of moments where I've seen cool decision-making, but there's not been anywhere that he's particularly dominated right now. That was a, pretty decent connector round from an aim perspective. But I think what's appealing about Dexter is where he puts his body, not where he puts his crosshair. So now another A setup. And you have to be Starsky and Hutch in these situations. With your A-opper as the rifler, you've got to defend him. You've got to give him fallback points. You've got to tether off of the bathrooms in different ways. You've got to be very fluid. You never hold the same position for 40-plus seconds on this map on the A site. Whereas in B, you're just kind of camped out here. There's a lot of floating going around. You're really making your own cover. This smoke is simply just to be able to fall back. Now, Seiko could be throwing this to make it seem like they're going to fall back, because its usefulness will almost expire. But then he can also take another look on down long, which is kind of a cool, interesting way to use the smoke. And as we can see, of course, Dexter is making sure that no one lurks around it. But this team that they're playing against has done a lot of walking. So wouldn't be all too surprised if someone did just fall into his crosshair. So now they're going to start to change things up, coming down to 30 seconds and a kill going down in B. And they haven't spotted anyone just yet. It looks like no lurks are out for the moment. And that is the round. Pretty clean stuff. Deep stairs Molly, no push this time. But you see how sometimes they push off the Mollies, sometimes they don't. That's why it's important to throw it on rounds even when you don't push. Otherwise you become predictable. And this is what the benefit is, of course, of holding connector. Stopping these B rushes, being a fast rotate to B, controlling the middle, controlling the 5-second rotation downstairs, down or upstairs. Suffocating the T's, basically. Final round of the half. This is for the nade for the cross into the playground. If they were crossing, you better believe they did damage. And once again, we're just seeing new ways of Dexter playing with his teammate who is hopping. So far, the crosshair placement has been solid. He can't find the next kill. And honestly, both sides are fragging. It's been some pretty nice frags on Dexter this game. But overall, they're doing just fine. We're actually done with a half now. And it's 6-9. They only got 6 rounds this half. That's the demo I picked. And we saw some good rounds. We saw some interesting ideas, cool like decisions where I'm like, that's a different way of playing them that I'm surprised he used. Like when he played tucked in on long without throwing his own smoke down, without throwing any smoke whatsoever. Not overreacting was the cool part, I think. And then also finding his in-between fights, even when they didn't work out, that peeking the smoke right as it plumed inside the bathrooms. I like the idea there. I like the confidence. And again, overall, we're looking at a player he's got good stats. He's got good stats. He's overperforming in his region, which I think is really important to note that, we'll see what that means if you were to come over. But I think you look at stats like this, you'd say they're primed, right? They're playing a little bit too well for their region. Maybe they would be a good fit. They play around, maybe slightly worse, but still well above average. Like if he's coming to replace Daps, for example, like you can expect individually Dexter's going to put up better performances than Daps. I think people would assume that. So that's the idea there. I really like Dexter. We can totally look at more of his matches and stuff like that. Maybe just look at an extraordinary half if I'm going to try to sell him to get picked up by Gen.G. But I did really genuinely feel like I saw some cool stuff there, and I'm hoping that some good decisions are made with roster moves. And again, everybody, if you are burgeoning on the tier 1, the tier 2, or the tier 3 and you're in North America, there's never been a better time to fill out some of these big tournaments to get your roster to a point of competence, to be the IGL that America needs to achieve a lot as a pro player in CS. Do it. Work hard every day. Be disciplined. Don't have regrets when you get older, okay? If you're going to spend time playing Counter-Strike, spend it wisely. Treat it like a job. If you're here to win, okay? I want to see you at the top. I want to see some fresh faces. I want to see the next Glaves, the next Kerrigans, more Stanislaus. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's make it happen. And yeah, thanks everyone for subbing on or hitting me up on Patreon. I will answer all of your questions. I got a lot of DMs, a lot of old DMs. I've responded to some. I have to re-respond. I'm going to respond to all your DMs. I'm going to respond to all the Patreons. It's just been very uncomfortable to like sit down in any capacity to try to reply to stuff, but appreciate you guys like crazy. And man, I don't know what we're going to do for 100K, but it's coming. 100K is coming. That's all thanks to y'all. So see you again tomorrow for another Coach Lau. Peace out.